Barcelona. A Love Untold is a deeply emotional romantic drama that beautifully mixes heartbreak, healing, and love against the stunning backdrop of Barcelona. Directed by Olivier Lamassan, the movie became extremely popular because of the incredible chemistry between Kathryn Bernardo and Daniel Padilla. Unlike ordinary love stories, this film focuses on two emotionally broken people trying to escape their painful pasts while unknowingly finding comfort in each other. The movie opens with breathtaking shots of Barcelona's streets, historic buildings, and peaceful atmosphere, instantly giving their audience a dreamy yet emotional feeling. Right from the beginning, the film creates a soft romantic tone while also hinting that sadness is hiding beneath the surface. Before we continue, make sure to follow the channel, leave a like, and comment below about your favorite emotional romantic movie. This story first introduces us to Ely, a young woman who recently arrived in Barcelona from the Philippines. At first glance, she seems calm and independent, but her eyes reveal a completely different story. Ely carries deep emotional pain inside her heart, and it quickly becomes clear that she came to Spain not just for a vacation but to escape something painful from her past. Even though she is surrounded by the beauty of Barcelona, she struggles to feel happiness. Every quiet moment reminds her of memories she desperately wants to forget. The film carefully shows her loneliness through silent scenes where she walks through crowded streets while still feeling emotionally empty. These moments immediately make the audience sympathize with her character because it is obvious she is trying to heal from heartbreak. On the other side of the story, we meet Mia, a cheerful and friendly young man who has been living in Barcelona for quite some time. Mia has a naturally charming personality and enjoys making people smile. He appears confident, funny, and carefree, but behind that bright personality, he also hides emotional wounds of his own. The movie slowly hints that Mia's happiness is partly an act to cover his inner sadness. One day, fate unexpectedly brings Mia and Ely together. Their first meeting feels awkward, yet strangely natural at the same time. Mia immediately notices that Ely looks emotionally exhausted and distant from everyone around her. Instead of pushing her with questions, he gently tries to make her feel comfortable through small conversations and light humor. As days pass, Mia begins showing Ely around the beautiful city of Barcelona. They visit peaceful streets, cozy cafes, and breathtaking locations that slowly bring warmth back into Ely's cold and guarded heart. At first, Ely keeps an emotional distance because her trust has already been broken before. However, Mia's kindness feels genuine, and little by little she starts lowering her walls. Their conversations become deeper, and the chemistry between them feels incredibly natural. The movie uses these scenes to build a comforting atmosphere where two lonely people slowly begin understanding each other without needing too many words. The emotional connection between them grows stronger with every scene, making the audience hope that maybe they can help each other heal from their painful pasts. While their relationship develops, the film also starts revealing hints about Ely's tragic history. Through emotional flashbacks and quiet moments, we learn that she once experienced a heartbreaking love story that completely shattered her emotionally. She keeps trying to move forward, but memories of the past continue haunting her everywhere she goes. Mia also carries emotional scars, though he hides them behind his smile much more successfully. Both characters are secretly fighting personal battles, which is why they connect so deeply with one another. They understand pain in a way most people cannot. This emotional depth is what makes the movie feel realistic and relatable instead of just another simple romance film. Mia and Ely sit together on a rooftop while looking over the glowing night lights of Barcelona. The scene is visually beautiful, but emotionally very heavy. Mia softly asks Ely if she has ever truly been happy in her life. For a few seconds, Ely says nothing. Tears slowly begin forming in her eyes as painful memories return to her mind. Even without directly answering the question, her silence says everything. Mia finally realizes that Ely is not just a lonely traveler but someone carrying a broken heart filled with deep emotional wounds. At that moment, the audience also understands that both Mia and Ely are far more damaged than they first appeared. The first part ends with an emotional mystery hanging in the air, leaving viewers eager to discover what painful events destroyed Ely's happiness and whether these two broken souls can eventually save each other from their loneliness. Barcelona. A Love Untold begins with Ely slowly becoming more comfortable around Mia. Although she still carries sadness inside her heart, being with him starts making her feel less alone in the unfamiliar city of Barcelona. The movie beautifully shows their growing connection through simple moments rather than dramatic scenes. They walk together through crowded streets, eat at small cafes, and spend hours talking about life. For the first time since arriving in Barcelona, Ely genuinely smiles. Mia notices these small changes and becomes happy seeing her slowly open up emotionally. However, beneath these peaceful moments, both of them continue hiding painful secrets they are not ready to share yet. One evening, Mia takes Ely to one of his favorite places in the city where they can see the sunset over Barcelona. The warm orange sky creates a calm and emotional atmosphere. During this conversation, Mia tells Ely that people sometimes travel far away not to discover new places but to escape old memories. His words immediately affect Ellie because they perfectly describe what she is going through. Ellie finally admits that she came to Barcelona because staying in the Philippines became emotionally unbearable for her. Although she avoids giving details, it becomes obvious that someone deeply hurt her in the past. Mia listens carefully without judging her, and this makes Ely trust him even more. The movie focuses heavily on emotional realism here, showing how sometimes understanding and silence can comfort a person more than advice. As their bond grows stronger, the film starts exploring Mia's hidden pain as well. Despite his cheerful personality, Mia is clearly struggling with his own emotional loneliness. There are scenes where he sits alone after spending time with Ely, quietly thinking about his past. The audience begins realizing that Mia's smile is hiding heartbreak too. One emotional scene shows Mia staring at old photographs and quickly putting them away when Ely accidentally notices them. Instead of explaining, he changes the subject with a joke. This moment subtly hints that Mia is also trying to escape memories connected to love and loss. The movie carefully balances both characters' emotional struggles, making their relationship feel deeper and more meaningful. Meanwhile, Ely starts experiencing moments where her painful memories suddenly return. Simple things around the city remind her of the person who once meant everything to her. In several emotional flashbacks, we see glimpses of her old relationship. She was deeply in love with someone and truly believed they would spend their lives together. But something terrible happened that completely destroyed her emotionally. The film does not reveal every detail yet, which keeps the mystery alive while building emotional tension. Ely tries hiding her pain whenever Mia is around because she does not want him to see how broken she really is. However, Mia slowly notices that behind her smiles, sadness still controls her heart. The emotional connection between them becomes even stronger during a festival night in Barcelona. The city is full of lights, music, and celebrations, creating one of the movie's most visually beautiful sequences. Mia convinces Ely to stop overthinking for one night and simply enjoy the moment. At first she hesitates, but eventually she laughs freely and forgets her sadness for a little while. Watching Ely happy makes Mia realize how important she has become to him. For the first time in a long time, both characters feel emotionally alive again. The chemistry between Kathryn Bernardo and Daniel Padilla becomes especially powerful in these scenes because their emotions feel natural and believable. The emotional tone suddenly changes. Ely accidentally sees something connected to Mia's past that shocks her. She realizes that Mia is hiding something serious from her, just as she has been hiding her own pain from him. At the same time, Mia notices Ely becoming emotionally distant again after receiving a message on her phone connected to her painful past. Neither of them fully understands the other's secrets yet, but both can feel that their growing relationship may soon face emotional complications. The part ends with Ely standing alone on her apartment balcony at night, silently crying while looking at the lights of Barcelona. Her past refuses to let her move on, and the audience is left wondering whether love can truly heal two people who are still haunted by heartbreak. Barcelona. A Love Untold begins with a noticeable emotional shift between Ely and Mia. After growing closer in the previous part, both of them now feel more connected than ever, but at the same time, their hidden emotional scars begin creating silent tension. Ely cannot stop thinking about the mysterious things she discovered about Mia, while Mia notices that Ely has suddenly become distant again. Even though they continue spending time together in the beautiful streets of Barcelona, the atmosphere between them no longer feels completely light and peaceful. There is now an emotional weight hanging over every conversation, as if both of them are afraid that the truth about their pasts could destroy the comfort they found in each other. One morning, Mia surprises Ely by taking her to a quiet location outside the busy city where they can relax away from the crowds. The scenery is calm and beautiful, filled with peaceful views that momentarily help Ely forget her worries. Mia tries making her laugh again like before, but this time Ely seems distracted. Eventually, Mia gently asks her if something is bothering her. Ely hesitates for a long moment before asking Mia about the old photographs she saw earlier. Mia's expression immediately changes, and for the first time, the cheerful smile on his face disappears completely. He avoids answering directly and simply tells her that everyone has painful memories they are trying to leave behind. His response only increases Ely's curiosity and emotional confusion. As the story progresses, the movie finally begins revealing more details about Ely's heartbreaking past. Through emotional flashbacks, we learn that she once had a deep and serious relationship with someone she truly loved. She trusted him completely and imagined spending her future with him. However, her world collapsed when that relationship ended in a devastating way. The pain became so unbearable that Ely lost faith not only in love, but also in herself. She started blaming herself for everything that happened, carrying emotional guilt everywhere she went. These flashbacks explain why Ely struggles so much with trust and emotional vulnerability. Even though she wants to move forward, the wounds from her past are still very fresh inside her heart. At the same time, Mia's emotional struggles become harder to hide. One night after dropping Ely home, Mia is shown sitting alone in silence inside his apartment. The cheerful energy he usually carries completely disappears when nobody else is around. He stares at old memories and looks emotionally exhausted, almost as if he has been pretending to be happy for a very long time. The movie slowly reveals that Mia also experienced heartbreak that changed him deeply. However, instead of letting sadness consume him openly like Ely, he chose to bury his pain beneath jokes, kindness, and smiles. This difference between their coping styles makes their relationship even more emotional because both of them are broken in completely different ways. Later, Ely and Mia attend another gathering with friends in Barcelona, but this time the atmosphere feels emotionally complicated. Ely notices how easily Mia makes everyone around him smile, and she begins wondering whether his happiness around her is genuine or simply another mask he wears. During the evening, one of Mia's friends accidentally mentions someone from his past, causing Mia to suddenly become quiet and uncomfortable. Ellie immediately notices the change in his behavior. Although the conversation quickly moves on, the moment leaves a strong emotional impact on her. She starts realizing that Mia's pain might be much deeper than she originally thought. The emotional tension between them reaches another level when Ely finally opens up slightly about her own past. Sitting together late at night near the city streets, she admits that she once loved someone so deeply that losing him completely destroyed her emotionally. Her voice shakes while speaking, and for the first time, Mia sees how broken she truly is inside. Instead of giving advice, Mia simply stays beside her and listens. That quiet support becomes one of the most emotional moments in the film so far. Ellie begins feeling safe with him in a way she has not felt in a very long time. At the same time, Mia looks at her with growing affection, slowly realizing that his feelings for her are becoming more serious than friendship. The movie delivers another emotional turning point. Ellie accidentally discovers the full truth about Mia's past relationship, and the revelation shocks her deeply. She realizes that Mia has also been carrying heartbreak connected to someone he could not forget. This discovery creates a painful connection between them because both now understand that they are two people trying to survive emotional wounds that still control their lives. The final scenes show them walking silently through the glowing streets of Barcelona, emotionally closer than before, yet also more afraid of falling in love again. The part ends with both characters silently wondering the same thing. Can two broken hearts truly heal each other, or will their painful past eventually destroy the bond they are starting to build? The emotional connection between Ely and Mia continues growing stronger, but the closer they become, the more dangerous their feelings start to feel for both of them. Every moment they spend together in Barcelona now carries emotional tension that neither of them fully understands. The city that once felt lonely and unfamiliar to Ely slowly begins feeling like home whenever Mia is beside her. Simple moments like walking together through crowded streets, sharing food at small cafes, or quietly sitting beside each other suddenly feel meaningful. For the first time since arriving in Spain, Ely starts imagining that maybe life can become peaceful again. Yet, deep inside, she remains terrified because she knows how painful love can become once emotions grow too strong. One evening, Mia takes Ely to a beautiful hidden spot overlooking the city lights of Barcelona. The atmosphere feels calm and romantic as music softly plays nearby and the cool night wind moves around them. Ely notices that Mia seems quieter than usual, almost as if something heavy is on his mind. After a long silence, Mia finally begins opening up about his past. He admits that before meeting Ely, he had already experienced a heartbreak that completely changed him emotionally. There was once someone he deeply loved and trusted, but losing that person left him feeling empty inside. Instead of allowing himself to break completely, he forced himself to hide the pain behind smiles and humor. Hearing this confession makes Ely realize that Mia understands her suffering more deeply than anyone else ever has. As their conversation becomes more emotional, Ellie also starts revealing more about the tragedy that pushed her into emotional darkness. Through heartbreaking flashbacks, the audience sees moments from her previous relationship, moments filled with happiness, dreams, and promises about the future. But those memories suddenly become painful when the relationship falls apart in the worst possible way. Ely explains how betrayal and emotional loss destroyed her confidence and made her afraid of trusting anyone again. Even now, she still feels haunted by memories she cannot erase. While speaking, her voice becomes shaky and tears slowly begin filling her eyes. Mia quietly listens without interrupting her, understanding every emotion she is feeling because he carries similar wounds inside his own heart. The movie beautifully shows how their emotional pain slowly transforms into comfort whenever they are together. Instead of trying to fix each other with words, they simply become safe spaces for one another. There are several peaceful scenes where they explore the city together while sharing small personal details about their lives. Ely slowly begins smiling more naturally, and Mia's laughter also starts feeling more genuine rather than forced. The chemistry between Kathryn Bernardo and Daniel Padilla becomes even stronger during these emotional moments because their connection feels realistic and heartfelt. The audience can clearly see that both characters are beginning to fall in love, even though neither of them is ready to admit it openly. However, just when things begin feeling hopeful, emotional complications suddenly appear again. Ely receives unexpected news connected to her past life in the Philippines. The message instantly destroys the emotional peace she was slowly building. Old memories return stronger than before, making her question whether she truly deserves happiness after everything that happened. Mia notices the sudden change in her behavior and becomes worried, but Ely refuses to explain what is wrong. she starts emotionally distancing herself again, afraid that becoming too close to Mia might eventually lead to more heartbreak. Mia tries giving her space, but deep inside, he fears losing the connection they created together. At the same time, Mia's own emotional struggles become more visible. One night, he meets an old friend who unknowingly reminds him about painful memories connected to his former relationship. The conversation leaves Mia emotionally shaken. For the first time in a long while, he begins questioning whether he is truly capable of loving someone again without being destroyed by fear and loss. Although Ely has brought light back into his life, he still carries emotional scars that have never fully healed. The movie carefully shows how both characters want love, but are equally terrified of the pain that can come with it. As days pass, the emotional distance between them continues growing despite their obvious feelings for each other. Ellie tries convincing herself that keeping her emotions under control is the safest choice, while Mia struggles with frustration because he cannot understand why she suddenly became cold again. Their conversations become shorter, and the comfortable warmth they once shared slowly turns into painful silence. Yet, even during these difficult moments, the love between them remains visible in the way they look at each other. Neither of them wants to walk away, but neither knows how to move forward without confronting the emotional damage they still carry from the past.
One of the most emotional scenes happens when Mia finally confronts Eli directly late at night under the glowing city lights. He asks her why she keeps pushing him away whenever they start getting closer. Eli becomes emotional and admits that she is terrified of loving someone again because every time she trusted her heart before, it ended in pain. Mia listens quietly before telling her that he feels the exact same fear. He admits that meeting her made him feel alive again after a long time, but at the same time, he is scared because he knows how deeply love can hurt once it is lost. The honesty between them creates an incredibly emotional moment where both characters finally stop hiding behind fake smiles and emotional walls. The night ends with both of them sitting together in silence, staring at the glowing skyline of Barcelona. No dramatic promises are made, and no perfect solutions appear. Instead, the scene focuses on two emotionally broken people trying to understand whether they can trust love again despite everything they have suffered. The audience can feel that their bond has now reached a turning point where their relationship could either become something beautiful or collapse under the weight of their painful pasts. The emotional tension becomes stronger than ever, leaving viewers desperate to know whether Ely and Mia will finally allow themselves to embrace their growing feelings or continue running away from the love they secretly need. The emotional tension between Ellie and Mia becomes impossible to ignore after their honest conversation beneath the lights of Barcelona. For the first time, both of them admitted how deeply fear controls their hearts. Even though neither directly confessed love, their feelings are now obvious in every glance, every moment of silence, and every small action they share together. After that night, things between them become softer and more natural again. Ellie slowly stops avoiding Mia, while Mia becomes more careful and patient with her emotions. Instead of pushing her to open up completely, he chooses to simply stay beside her, giving her comfort without pressure. This quiet understanding between them creates some of the most beautiful emotional moments in the film. The movie spends time showing how love sometimes grows through simple everyday experiences instead of dramatic scenes. Mia and Ellie continue exploring Barcelona together, but now their connection feels deeper than friendship. They laugh more naturally, tease each other playfully, and begin creating memories that slowly replace the sadness both of them carried for so long. One peaceful morning, they visit a quiet beach outside the city where the atmosphere feels calm and free from the emotional weight surrounding their lives. Sitting together near the ocean, Ellie finally smiles without forcing herself, and Mia notices the difference immediately. Seeing her genuinely happy fills him with emotions he has been trying hard to control. During this trip, Mia reveals even more about the heartbreak that changed him in the past. He explains that after losing the person he once loved, he stopped believing relationships could truly last forever. He spent years pretending to be emotionally fine while secretly feeling empty inside. Meeting Ellie unexpectedly changed that. For the first time in years, someone made him want to trust his heart again. While listening to him, Ellie realizes that Mia is no longer just a comforting friend in her life. He has slowly become the person she feels safest with. This realization scares her because she knows her feelings are becoming stronger than she intended. As their emotional bond grows, the film also begins introducing outside pressures that threaten their fragile happiness. Eli receives more messages connected to her painful past in the Philippines, and each message drags her emotionally backward. The memories she tried escaping continue haunting her, making her question whether she deserves another chance at love after everything that happened. There are moments where she secretly cries alone, terrified that her unresolved pain might eventually hurt Mia too. Instead of feeling healed completely, Eli now feels trapped between her growing feelings for Mia and the emotional damage she still carries inside. Meanwhile, Mia starts becoming more emotionally vulnerable around Ely than ever before. One evening, while walking together through the glowing streets of Barcelona, he casually talks about future dreams and places he wants to visit someday. Ely notices that whenever Mia talks about the future now, she is somehow included in those thoughts. This realization touches her deeply because nobody has made her feel emotionally important in a very long time. The chemistry between Kathryn Bernardo and Daniel Padilla becomes especially powerful in these scenes because their emotions feel genuine rather than exaggerated. Every smile and every emotional pause carries meaning. The emotional turning point arrives during a festival celebration in Barcelona filled with music, lights, and dancing crowds. Mia and Ellie lose themselves in the joyful atmosphere for a brief moment, forgetting all their fears and painful memories. Surrounded by celebration and happiness, they finally allow themselves to enjoy the present instead of worrying about the past. As the night becomes more emotional, Mia gently holds Ellie's hand, and for a few seconds, neither of them pulls away. The moment feels simple yet incredibly meaningful because it represents trust slowly returning to two broken hearts. Ellie looks at Mia differently now, no longer just with comfort but with genuine love beginning to grow inside her heart. However, happiness in the movie never lasts peacefully for too long. Just when Ely starts feeling emotionally safe with Mia, a shocking truth from her past suddenly returns and threatens everything. Someone connected to her old relationship unexpectedly contacts her directly, bringing back painful emotions she thought she had buried. The message leaves her emotionally shaken and confused. She begins questioning whether moving forward with Mia is even possible, while her past still holds so much power over her life. Instead of opening up to Mia immediately, Ely once again starts hiding her emotions, afraid that the truth may destroy the bond they built together. Mia quickly notices that something is wrong. Eli becomes quieter, emotionally distracted, and distant despite trying to act normal around him. Mia struggles with frustration because he feels her pulling away again just when they were finally becoming truly close. One emotional night, he asks her directly if she regrets meeting him. Eli immediately says no, but her emotional reaction makes it obvious that something serious is happening inside her mind. Mia tells her that no matter what pain she carries, she does not have to face it alone anymore. His words deeply affect Eli because she realizes how much Mia genuinely cares about her happiness. The final scenes become emotionally intense as Eli stands alone looking over the city skyline at night. She remembers all the pain from her past while also thinking about the peace Mia brought back into her life. For the first time, she admits to herself that she has fallen in love again, even though that feeling terrifies her completely. At the same time, Mia is shown sitting quietly in his apartment, staring at his phone and wondering whether Eli is slowly slipping away from him emotionally. Both characters are now deeply connected to each other, but their unresolved emotional wounds continue creating fear and uncertainty between them. The story reaches a heartbreaking emotional stage where love is finally growing stronger, yet the shadows of the past threaten to destroy everything before either of them can fully embrace happiness again. Love finally becomes impossible for Ellie and Mia to deny. But instead of bringing peace into their lives, those feelings begin creating even greater emotional conflict. After everything they have shared together in Barcelona, both of them now understand that their connection is far deeper than friendship. Yet, the closer they get emotionally, the more terrified they become of losing each other. Ellie especially feels trapped between her painful past and the new happiness slowly growing inside her heart. Every time she starts imagining a future with Mia, memories from her old relationship return and remind her how quickly love can turn into heartbreak. She wants to trust her feelings, but fear continues stopping her from fully opening her heart again. The emotional distance between them becomes more noticeable during the following days. Mia tries acting normal around Ely, but he can feel her silently struggling with something she refuses to share completely. He notices how distracted she becomes during conversations and how her smile disappears whenever she thinks nobody is looking at her. Instead of pressuring her, Mia chooses patience once again, though deep inside he is afraid. After finally finding someone who understands him emotionally, the idea of losing Ely begins hurting him more than he expected. The movie beautifully captures this emotional tension through quiet scenes rather than dramatic arguments, making their relationship feel realistic and painfully human. One evening, Mia surprises Ellie by taking her to another peaceful location, far from the crowded city streets. The atmosphere feels calm as soft lights reflect across the water nearby. Mia tells Ellie that ever since she entered his life, things inside him have started changing in ways he never thought possible. He admits that before meeting her, he had stopped believing happiness could last. Ellie listens silently, while trying to control the emotions building inside her heart. Mia then gently asks her whether she ever thinks about staying in Barcelona permanently instead of eventually returning to the Philippines. The question immediately creates emotional tension because Ellie herself does not know the answer anymore. For the first time, Ellie openly admits that leaving Barcelona no longer feels simple because this city now holds someone important to her. Mia looks at her quietly, understanding exactly what she means, even though she never directly says the words aloud. The emotional chemistry between Kathryn Bernardo and Daniel Padilla becomes incredibly powerful during this scene because their emotions feel completely genuine. Without dramatic speeches or exaggerated romance, the audience can clearly see two broken people slowly falling deeply in love while still carrying fear inside their hearts. However, just as their emotional connection reaches its strongest point so far, Eli's past suddenly crashes back into her life in a painful way. She receives unexpected news from the Philippines connected to the person who once shattered her emotionally. The message forces her to confront painful truths she had been trying desperately to escape by coming to Barcelona. Instead of feeling free from her past, Eli realizes that the emotional wounds inside her were never fully healed. The news leaves her emotionally overwhelmed, and she begins questioning whether she is emotionally capable of loving Mia properly while still carrying so much unresolved pain. The pressure becomes too much for Ellie to hide any longer. One night, after spending the evening with Mia, she suddenly breaks down emotionally while walking alone through the city streets. All the sadness, fear, and confusion she buried for so long finally explode at once. Mia finds her sitting alone in tears, completely emotionally exhausted. Without asking questions, he simply sits beside her quietly. After a long silence, Ellie finally tells him the full truth about her past relationship and the heartbreak that destroyed her emotionally. She confesses how deeply she loved someone who eventually left her completely broken, making her feel worthless and afraid of trusting anyone again. As Mia listens to her painful story, his own emotions become overwhelming too, because he understands exactly how emotional loss can destroy a person from the inside. Instead of judging her fears, he gently tells Ellie that being afraid of love does not make her weak. He admits that he also wakes up some nights terrified that happiness can disappear at any moment. This honest conversation becomes one of the most emotional moments in the entire film because both characters finally stop hiding behind emotional walls completely. For the first time, they truly see each other's pain without fear or pretense. After that night, something important changes between them. The emotional barriers separating them begin disappearing, and their connection feels stronger than ever before. Ellie slowly starts allowing herself to believe that maybe healing is possible after all. She begins realizing that Mia is not trying to replace her painful past, but helping her survive it. Meanwhile, Mia also feels emotionally lighter because he no longer has to pretend to be strong all the time around her. Together, they create a sense of peace neither of them had experienced in years. But even during these hopeful moments, the movie continues reminding the audience that emotional scars do not disappear overnight. Ellie still struggles with guilt and fear, while Mia secretly worries that their happiness might not last forever. The closer they move toward love, the more vulnerable they become to heartbreak again. One emotional scene shows Ellie quietly staring at Mia while he laughs naturally with friends, and for a brief moment she smiles sadly because she realizes how much losing him someday would destroy her emotionally. The final moments become deeply emotional as Mia and Ely spend a quiet night together, watching the glowing skyline of Barcelona. There are no dramatic confessions, yet their feelings are now impossible to hide. Mia gently reaches for Ely's hand, and this time she holds onto it without hesitation. The silence between them feels warm rather than painful. For the first time in a very long while, both of them feel less alone in the world. Yet, beneath that peaceful moment remains one terrifying question neither of them can escape. Can love truly heal people who were once emotionally destroyed? Or will their painful pasts eventually pull them apart, no matter how hard they try to hold on to each other? The relationship between Ellie and Mia finally reaches a stage where their feelings can no longer stay hidden behind silence and emotional hesitation. After everything they have shared together in Barcelona, both of them now understand that they have become deeply important to each other. The emotional walls that once protected them are slowly disappearing, replaced by trust, comfort, and genuine affection. For the first time in a long while, Ellie wakes up feeling less haunted by her painful memories. The loneliness she carried since arriving in Barcelona no longer feels unbearable because Mia's presence has become the one thing giving her emotional peace. At the same time, Mia also begins looking happier and more emotionally alive than before. Friends around him start noticing the change in his personality, realizing that Ellie has brought light back into his life in a way nobody else could. The movie spends time showing the emotional warmth growing naturally between them. Their conversations become more playful, their smiles more genuine, and the heavy sadness surrounding them slowly begins fading. One morning, they spend hours walking through quiet streets while talking about dreams they once gave up on because of heartbreak. Ellie admits that before meeting Mia, she stopped imagining a happy future for herself. She believed love only brought pain and disappointment. Mia quietly tells her that he used to feel exactly the same way. The honesty between them creates a powerful emotional connection because they are no longer pretending to be emotionally strong. Instead, they openly share fears, regrets, and hopes with each other. As days pass, Ellie begins experiencing something she never expected again: emotional safety. Around Mia, she no longer feels the need to hide her sadness or force herself to smile. She can simply be herself without fear of judgment. The movie beautifully captures these small emotional moments, showing how true comfort often comes from being understood rather than being fixed. Mia also starts opening up more about his own insecurities and emotional struggles. He admits that after his past heartbreak, he convinced himself he would never truly love anyone again because he could not survive losing another person he cared about deeply. But meeting Ely slowly changed that belief without him even realizing it. One evening, Mia takes Ellie to a quiet location outside the busy city where they can watch the stars together. The atmosphere feels peaceful, almost dreamlike, as soft lights from distant buildings glow around them. During this emotional moment, Mia finally gathers the courage to tell Ellie how much she means to him. He does not make a dramatic speech or use perfect romantic words. Instead, he simply speaks honestly from the heart, telling her that being with her makes him feel less broken inside. Ellie becomes emotional, listening to him because nobody has ever expressed love toward her in such a sincere and gentle way before. Tears slowly fill her eyes as she realizes how deeply Mia has changed her life. For several seconds, neither of them speaks. The emotional tension becomes overwhelming as they quietly look at each other under the night sky of Barcelona. Then Ellie softly admits that she is scared because loving someone again feels terrifying after everything she went through in the past. Mia gently tells her that he is scared too, but maybe fear becomes easier to face when two people face it together. His words deeply touch Ellie's heart because for the first time, love no longer feels like something dangerous. Instead, it begins feeling like healing. Slowly, Ellie reaches for his hand, and the emotional distance that existed between them finally disappears completely. Their relationship officially changes after that night. The bond between them becomes openly romantic, though still emotionally delicate, because both characters continue carrying scars from their past experiences. The chemistry between Kathryn Bernardo and Daniel Padilla feels strongest during these scenes because their love story develops through emotional vulnerability rather than unrealistic perfection. The audience can feel that this relationship matters deeply to both characters because it was built through shared pain, trust, and emotional understanding. However, even as happiness finally enters their lives, the shadows of the past continue following them. Eli still receives reminders connected to the heartbreak she tried escaping when she first arrived in Barcelona. Although she hides her fears better now, part of her remains terrified that happiness can suddenly disappear again. Mia also struggles with insecurity because he knows how emotionally fragile their relationship still is. Both characters want this love to survive, but neither fully trusts life enough to believe that happiness can truly last forever. The emotional tension grows stronger when Ellie receives unexpected news that may force her to make a difficult decision about her future. Circumstances connected to her life in the Philippines begin pulling her emotionally back towards the world she tried leaving behind. The possibility of leaving Barcelona suddenly becomes real again, and the thought of separation terrifies both her and Mia. Although neither openly discusses it yet, the fear of losing each other begins quietly growing between them.
One heartbreaking scene shows Eli secretly crying alone after thinking about what returning home might mean for her relationship with Mia. She realizes that somewhere along the journey, Mia stopped becoming just part of her healing process and became the person she truly loves. Meanwhile, Mia senses something is wrong again, but struggles to understand exactly what Ely is hiding from him. He can feel her emotional conflict growing stronger each day, and the uncertainty begins affecting him deeply too. The final moments become emotionally powerful as Mia and Ely stand together overlooking the glowing city skyline at night. The same city that once represented loneliness and emotional escape has now become the place where they found love unexpectedly. Mia gently asks Eli if she is happy now. This time, unlike before, Eli does not stay silent. With tears in her eyes and a soft smile on her face, she quietly answers yes. But even within that beautiful moment, sadness still lingers beneath the surface because both of them know that life may soon force them to face a painful choice neither is emotionally prepared for. The emotional bond between Ely and Mia grows stronger than ever, but now it carries a quiet fear that neither of them openly talks about. After everything they have experienced together in Barcelona, their relationship has transformed into something deeply meaningful, almost like a safe place in each other's broken lives. Ely has finally started smiling without forcing herself, and Mia has become more emotionally grounded than he has been in years. Their days feel peaceful, filled with small moments that slowly build a sense of normal life. Walking together through familiar streets, sharing meals, and sitting in silence no longer feels empty. Instead, it feels comforting, like they have finally found something worth holding on to. But beneath this peace, uncertainty continues growing. Ely's past in the Philippines begins pulling her back emotionally in ways she cannot fully control. She starts receiving news that forces her to think about responsibilities she tried to escape when she came to Barcelona. Even though she tries staying present with Mia, her mind often drifts away into thoughts about what she will do next. Mia notices these changes immediately. He sees how her smile sometimes fades in the middle of conversations and how she becomes distant without explanation. Instead of confronting her harshly, he tries to be patient, but deep inside he is scared. He feels like Ely is slowly slipping away from him emotionally, even while standing right beside him. One afternoon, Mia takes Eli to a quiet place away from the busy city. The atmosphere is soft and calm, but their emotions are heavy. Mia finally asks her what is bothering her, and this time Eli does not avoid the question. She tells him that her life in the Philippines may not allow her to stay in Barcelona forever. The moment those words are spoken, everything between them changes. Mia becomes silent, trying to process what he just heard. Eli quickly explains that she does not want to lose him, but she is trapped between love and responsibility. Her voice shakes as she speaks, showing how much this decision is tearing her apart from inside. The emotional tension becomes overwhelming as both of them realize what is at stake. Mia tries to stay strong, but the fear of losing Eli is clearly visible in his eyes. He tells her that he understands she has responsibilities, but he also cannot imagine his life without her anymore. For the first time, he openly admits how deeply he has fallen in love with her. Ely breaks down emotionally hearing this because she feels exactly the same way, but does not know how to choose between two parts of her life. The scene becomes emotionally intense as both characters struggle between love and reality without finding any easy answers. Later that night, Ely walks alone through the glowing streets of Barcelona, overwhelmed by confusion and sadness. She remembers everything she has gone through since arriving in this city, the pain she escaped, the healing she found, and the unexpected love that changed her completely. At the same time, she also remembers the responsibilities waiting for her back home. She realizes that no matter what decision she makes, someone will end up hurt. Either she loses Mia or she abandons a part of her past life that still holds meaning. This emotional conflict pushes her into deep silence and reflection. Meanwhile, Mia spends the night alone as well, unable to sleep. He thinks about how Ely entered his life unexpectedly and changed everything he believed about love. Before her, he had accepted loneliness as something permanent, but now losing her feels more painful than anything he has experienced before. He questions whether love is worth the suffering that comes with it. Yet, even in his fear, he knows he cannot simply let her go without trying to fight for her. The emotional weight of uncertainty makes him realize how deeply attached he has become. The next day, their meeting feels different. There is a quiet distance between them, even though they are physically together. They try to act normal, but every word feels heavier than usual. Eli avoids eye contact, while Mia struggles to find the right words. Eventually, Mia gently asks her if she has already made a decision. Ely cannot answer immediately. Her silence says everything. The pain in that moment becomes unbearable for both of them because they realize that their love is now standing at a crossroads where emotions alone are not enough to hold them together. As the day ends, they sit together overlooking the city lights of Barcelona one more time. The same view that once gave them hope now feels emotionally fragile. Mia softly tells Ely that whatever happens, meeting her was the most important part of his life. Ely turns toward him with tears in her eyes, unable to respond properly. She holds his hand tightly, as if trying to delay the moment of separation that feels closer than ever. The emotional atmosphere becomes heavy with unspoken words as both of them understand that love has brought them happiness, but reality is now preparing to test how strong that love truly is. The emotional pressure between Eli and Mia reaches a breaking point as both of them struggle to hold on to what they have built together in Barcelona. After the difficult conversation about Ely's possible return to the Philippines, nothing between them feels stable anymore. Even though they still care deeply for each other, an invisible distance starts growing in their daily lives. They continue meeting, talking, and spending time together, but the warmth that once defined their relationship now feels replaced by uncertainty and quiet fear. Every smile looks forced, and every silence carries emotional weight that neither of them knows how to break. Ely becomes increasingly torn between her heart and her responsibilities. She tries focusing on her life in Barcelona, but her mind constantly drifts back to the life she left behind. The emotional conflict inside her becomes unbearable because she knows that staying with Mia might mean ignoring important parts of her reality. At the same time, leaving him feels like losing the only person who ever made her feel truly understood again. This inner struggle begins affecting her deeply, and Mia notices it clearly. He sees how she starts withdrawing emotionally, even when she is physically present beside him. Mia, on the other hand, begins experiencing his own emotional breakdown in silence. He no longer hides his fear as well as before. The idea of losing Ely starts consuming his thoughts every day. He tries staying strong for her, but the truth is he feels powerless against the situation. One night, he sits alone reflecting on how quickly his life changed after meeting her. Before Eli, he had accepted emotional emptiness as normal. Now, the thought of going back to that emptiness feels unbearable. He realizes that he has fallen in love so deeply that even the possibility of separation feels like emotional destruction. The tension finally becomes impossible to ignore when Ely decides she can no longer avoid the truth. She meets Mia in a quiet part of Barcelona where their most important conversations usually happen. The atmosphere is calm, but their emotions are heavy. Ely finally admits that she has been trying to make a decision about her future, but no matter how hard she tries, she cannot find a choice that does not hurt someone she loves. Her voice shakes as she speaks, and Mia listens in silence, already understanding what she is about to say even before she finishes. Ely tells him that she may have to return to the Philippines because she cannot ignore the responsibilities waiting for her there anymore. The moment these words are spoken, everything around them feels like it stops. Mia does not interrupt or react immediately. He simply absorbs the reality he has been trying to avoid. Ely continues crying as she explains that she never expected to fall in love like this again, and that meeting him changed her in ways she cannot explain. She tells him that leaving him is the hardest decision she has ever faced in her life. Her honesty makes the emotional moment even more painful because both of them now fully understand the depth of what they are about to lose. Mia finally responds, but his voice is calm and broken at the same time. He tells Ely that he never asked her to choose between him and her life, but he also cannot pretend that losing her would not destroy him. He admits that she became the reason he started believing in love again after a long time. Without her, he feels like he would return to the same emotional emptiness he once lived in. Hearing this makes Ely cry even harder because she realizes that her decision will hurt him in a way she never wanted. The emotional intensity reaches its peak as both of them sit in silence, unable to find words that can fix what is happening between them. They hold hands tightly as if trying to delay the moment reality forces them apart. The city lights of Barcelona glow around them, creating a beautiful but heartbreaking contrast to their emotional pain. Neither of them wants to let go, but both understand that love alone may not be enough to change what life is demanding from them. As the night continues, they walk together through the city for what feels like the last time in a different emotional state. Every place reminds them of a memory they created together. The cafe where they first laughed, the streets where they shared quiet conversations, and the rooftops where they opened their hearts to each other now feel like reminders of something they are about to lose. Ely tries staying strong, but every step makes it harder for her to hold back her emotions. Mia finally asks her if there is any possibility for them to still find a way to stay together. Ely cannot answer immediately. Her silence once again becomes the most painful response. She tells him that she does not know what the future holds, but she knows she cannot ignore her responsibilities anymore. Mia nods slowly, accepting the painful reality even though it breaks him inside. For a brief moment, they both realize that love does not always have the power to overcome real life circumstances. The final moments of this part show them standing together overlooking Barcelona's night skyline once again. But this time, the atmosphere feels completely different. The same view that once represented hope and new beginnings now feels like a memory they are about to leave behind. Ely rests her head on Mia's shoulder one last time, and they stay like that in silence, holding on to a moment they both know cannot last forever. The emotional weight between them becomes overwhelming as they prepare for a separation neither of them is ready to face, but both of them can no longer avoid. The final stretch of the story brings Ely and Mia to the most painful and emotional point of their journey in Barcelona. After everything they have shared love, healing, fear, and hope they are now standing at the edge of separation. The city that once gave them a new beginning now feels like the place where something beautiful is about to end. Ely has finally made her decision, but she is not at peace with it. Mia can feel it without even asking. Their silence says everything that words cannot fix anymore. Every moment they spend together now feels limited, like they are counting down to goodbye. Ellie meets Mia one final time in a quiet, familiar place where they often shared their most emotional conversations. The air feels heavier than before. She struggles to look at him directly because she knows what she is about to say will break both of them. After a long silence, she finally tells Mia that she has to return to the Philippines. Her voice is soft, shaking, and filled with pain. She explains that she tried to fight it, tried to find another way, but some responsibilities cannot be ignored forever. As she speaks, tears roll down her face because she is not just leaving a city, she is leaving someone who changed her life completely. Mia listens without interrupting. His expression stays calm, but his eyes reveal everything he is feeling inside. For a moment, he says nothing, as if trying to accept a reality he does not want to believe. When he finally speaks, his voice is quiet but deeply emotional. He tells Ely that he understands her decision even if it destroys him. He admits that meeting her gave his life meaning again, something he had lost long ago. Losing her now feels like returning to emptiness, but he says he cannot ask her to abandon her responsibilities just for him. His words show both love and silent heartbreak at the same time. Ely breaks down completely after hearing this. She tells him that she never planned for any of this to happen. She did not come to Barcelona looking for love, but she found it in the most unexpected way. Mia gently tells her that sometimes the most painful love stories are the ones that feel the most real. This moment becomes one of the most emotional scenes in their entire journey, as both of them finally stop holding back their feelings. There are no more secrets, no more distance, only honesty and pain shared between two people who love each other deeply but cannot escape reality. They walk together through the streets of Barcelona for what feels like the last time. Every place around them carries memories. First smiles, late night talks, silent moments, and shared dreams. But now those memories feel heavier instead of comforting. Ely holds Mia's hand tightly as if trying to memorize the feeling before it disappears. Mia does not let go either, even though he knows he eventually has to. The chemistry between Kathryn Bernardo and Daniel Padilla makes these moments incredibly emotional because their connection feels real, natural, and deeply human. At one point, they stop and sit together overlooking the glowing city lights. Mia softly asks Ely if she ever regrets meeting him. Ely immediately shakes her head and says no. She tells him that meeting him was the only thing that made her feel alive again after everything she went through. Mia smiles sadly and tells her the same, that loving her gave him something he thought he would never feel again. The silence that follows is heavy but peaceful, as if both of them have finally accepted the truth they have been avoiding. The final goodbye moment arrives slowly, without drama, but with overwhelming emotion. Ely tries to stay strong, but her tears refuse to stop. Mia gently holds her face for a moment, memorizing her expression, as if trying to keep it forever in his heart. Neither of them wants to say goodbye, but they both know this is the only honest ending to their situation. After a long silence, Ely finally steps away. That single moment feels like the breaking point of everything they built together. Mia watches her walk away through the softly lit streets of Barcelona. Each step she takes feels heavier than the last. He does not call her back because he understands that love sometimes means letting go. Ely keeps walking, but she turns back one last time. Their eyes meet across the distance, filled with everything they could not say aloud. Then she slowly disappears into the crowd, leaving Mia standing alone. The final scene shows Mia sitting quietly, looking at the city that once brought him happiness but now holds his deepest heartbreak. At the same time, Ely is shown leaving Barcelona, carrying both love and pain with her. Neither of them ends up truly whole, but both are changed forever. The story closes on the emotional truth that some love stories are not meant to last forever, but they still become the most important part of a person's life.